Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Employability Lab 2023. I'm super excited to be hosting the lab once again this year with my brand new co-host for this year, Charles. My name's Emma Moore. I am Head of University Partnerships at Grad Consult. For those of you who don't know Grad Consult, we are a talent consultancy who work with university careers teams and early careers teams as well. Since the business was formed in 2012, we've worked with over 75% of university careers teams in the UK and Ireland. In the main, our work falls into these three main areas: strategy, research and consultancy. So we work a lot with careers teams going through change. We provide L&D for careers teams. This could be bespoke programs that we come and deliver on campus, or we have our two online programs, Emerging Leaders for new leaders in the career space, and Peers and Careers Ideas Factory, which is launching in January for anyone who is interested in making connections with other colleagues working in peers and careers and providing and getting some innovative and creative ideas on how to take this type of initiative forward in your team. We also do student and graduate development. This could be anything from designing and developing an embedded module for a particular cohort of students to just delivering an online 2-hour session on career competence. Okay, so I think that's enough of a plug from Grad Consult. If you want to find out more about what we do, you can follow us on LinkedIn to hear various insights and news from our team. But I'll hand over to Charles now to introduce himself and say a bit about Handshake.
Great, thanks, Emma. Great to be here co-hosting with you this morning. Good morning, everyone. Charles from Handshake here. I'm sure lots of you have heard about Handshake, but time for our quick plug. So we are a technology company that provides amazing career management solutions. And just on the screen, these are our three founders who are actually students when they started the company way back in 2014, students at Michigan Tech University. And they felt they were not getting the employers and the job opportunities coming to their university, and they wanted to level the playing field. And they set out on this mission. 7 years later, they now have Handshake in the US, in the UK, now in France, in Germany. We have over 1,500 university partners, hundreds of thousands of employers, millions of students using the platform. All around creating a three-sided interactive network to help students explore and develop and find their career path, to help employers connect with the right talent, and to help careers and universities support, engage, and track and impact that careers journey for all their students. So in the UK, we now have over 30 universities and tens of thousands of employers using the platform. Hello to those who are partners with us today, and hopefully hello to lots who might be partners with us in the future. All these things that we do, the Handshake Toolkit helps universities really optimize their career support for their students in lots of different ways, all the way through from day one and to alumni and graduate support. So that's probably enough from me, but please, again, as Emma says, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Twitter, X, so please do follow us on those platforms as well. So onwards with the day, a few housekeeping things for me to remind you of. We are being recorded. So we want to share this with people who can't make it. We know that people are going to be dipping in and out today of the numerous excellent sessions that we have. So we're going to record everything. And so if you can't make some of them, don't worry, they'll be available later. If you have questions, and I hope you do, we love questions and interaction, please use the chat today. So we're not going to use Q&A or anything like that. We're just going to have one place, and it's the chat. Why don't you test it out now and say hi and where you're from, or tell us your favorite animal or something? Let's see the chat happening, working, because it's not happening at the moment. So please say hi and let's get that moving and let us know that it works. Brilliant. A couple of people can help you. Oh, there we go. Excellent. Hello. Good morning, everyone. There are people out there. I've not been cut off by Virgin Media and talking to myself. Brilliant. Keep it going. So you can see for support, we've got the amazing Mike and Leah, and we're not using raise your hand. Use the chat, please. That will be great. So there's a few handles there. If you're into social media, we all love that. Great for those people who can't be on board during the session so they can keep up to speed with what we're chatting about. So without further ado, what have we got in store?
So we've got a fairly packed agenda today. We're going to be running from 10 till 2:30. We've got 4 sessions this morning. We'll be breaking at 11:15 for 15 minutes, and then again at 12:30 for 45 minutes for lunch. Then this afternoon, we've got another 2 sessions, and we will be finished by 2:30. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Charles, who can introduce our first speaker.
Yeah, we're running ruthlessly fast here. I'm hoping that Dr. Naeema Pasha is going to be ready to start her presentation. So let me introduce Naeema. You may know her already. She's a career coach and a behavioral scientist with a specialist interest in exploring the often complicated and evolving relationships between artificial intelligence, equity, and behaviors. Previously, Naeema was the director of Future of Work, Equity and Careers at Henley Business School, where she also established the World of Work, a series of excellent events and research that I myself participated in a few times. So it's really exciting for me to hand over to you, Naeema. Hopefully you've got sound, you've got video. I can see you there. Good morning.
Morning. I didn't realize I was on. I was adjusting my back of the thing. It's not a virtual screen. It's a real screen. So I was like, I didn't realize you were there. Thank you so much, everyone. And it's a great pleasure to be here. And my favorite, I put in the chat, actually, my favorite animal happens to be a tiger, but I did see a wombat out there and I'm thinking maybe I should have chosen wombat as well. So if I may, I'm going to put my, I'm going to do the, can you see my screen? Charles, I just need you to say yes.
Yes, it's all good. Thank you. You want to pop it in slide?
Yeah, thank you. Right, okay,
brilliant.
So we're gonna, I know many of you hopefully on here, some of you I don't, so I'm really happy to be here once again. I've got my big hoops on, ready to go, and just talk to you about what I'd like to do in the next period of time now. Got about 20 minutes I'm going to take and leave some time for questions, is ethical AI, and the title of the talk I thought I'd call is Striking the Right Chord Between Promise and Prudence. And so really pleased to be here. And I've left the careers world almost a year ago to the day, where I was, I founded the World of Work Institute. And as you said, Charles, you came along to that, where we ran some conferences looking at AI way back in the dim and distant past, before the pandemic even, looking at the impact of AI. And then that morphed into looking at being director of EDI, Future of Work. And all the time I was still head of careers as well. I wrote a book, co-authored with a colleague on Future Proof Your Career. And I've got a new book chapter coming out next year, just springtime, around the double-edged sword of AI in coaching. And this last year, as I've left, I did the kind of the opposite of what Charles did, leaving a tech firm and coming, well, still in a tech firm now, but in this employability space. So I've gone out into leaving university, working in a future of work kind of space, and it's wild out there. So I'm really happy in a way to be back with friends today. So I'm going to talk to you about why I think ethics in AI is important. In fact, this is something I really found during this year out in the wilderness, because when I started the World of Work back in the day, I was super excited about AI. I did when I did my master's in this is going back, master's in careers, I really looked at the internet. Should the internet be used in recruitment? That was the dissertation I did back then. So I've always been interested in it. But this year now, this last few years, particularly this last year, working in tech, I'm kind of thinking, my God, we need to really focus a lot more about ethics. And when I say we, I mean us working in the university recruitment, graduate recruitment space especially, you, because all of us, I think, gathered around the table here, so to speak, the virtual table here, we all want to ensure fairness and non-discrimination in the work that we do. We've got EDI systems, we've got diversity in there, we want social mobility, all the kind of things that we're working through graduate recruitment, graduate student development, and early careers. An ethical AI, as opposed just to AI, ethical AI can help in creating AI systems that are fair, are unbiased and inclusive, so we can ensure that everybody does benefit from these AI advancements that we hope that we can get without discrimination. But I think there are concerns ahead, and I'm upbeat as well as really worried. So I've got this kind of like two sides of me at the moment, really upbeat, positive about everything that's going on, but at the same time thinking, oh my God, what is happening? So the two examples I want to give you where I think AI can be unfair and unbiased. The first one is from a movie I did. The last thing I did before I left Henley was to do a movie about facial recognition technology, and it's available on YouTube, but I'm going to show you 5 minutes of that video, the movie I did. And then I'm going to show you a little bit about coaching bots, because that's related to this new chapter, because again, I've been researching more about how AI can come into our space, and I'm going to show you a little bit about Pi AI, which some of you have been using, but some of you may not. So I'm going to talk to you about that. On facial recognition technology, specifically, I was interested in it because this is used so much in recruitment, but also in life. So this is a movie, and I hope you've got good, may the positive gods of Wi-Fi be with you while we show this. 5 minutes of this movie.
Fundamentally, privacy is core to being human. It gives you these opportunities to evolve and grow.
We consider it in the kind of legal world as a gateway right, whereby you can't exercise your other rights and freedoms unless you have privacy.
It's really important that people are able to feel authentic when they're living their lives. If they feel like they're being watched or their data's being collected, they might feel more constrained in the way they act.
Collecting data is a really important part of decision making. Before I leave the house, I always look at the weather to see if I need to take a coat. If I'm looking for a restaurant, I'll check the menu out online. And if I'm going on a long journey, of course, I'll check the traffic and the route. This is all data-informed decision-making. The more data you have, the better decision you can make. As we spend more time online, we're collecting data, but we're also giving it away. If you post on social media and you tag a location, that's a very active form of giving your data away. But there are more passive ways too. For instance, if you're searching for something online, or if you add something to your shopping trolley. Now, businesses see this data as hugely valuable. They can predict individuals' behavior and then make business decisions based on that. So, when new technologies are being adopted by companies all over the place to collect and process our data, should we be worried about our privacy?
It's beneficial for corporations to collect personal data on many fronts. More data improves the services I provide as a corporation. Number two, more data allows me to provide you with personalized ads, personalized recommendations, so that they can push you towards buying stuff that you might probably not need.
If data has been collected regarding individual, that might invade privacy. And if that data is misused, then that can be very harmful. We are using these technologies more and more in everyday life. The more we use technology, there's a likelihood that some of the negative consequences of that technology could be introduced inadvertently. And whether that is a small scale or large scale, again, all depends on how widely such technologies are being used. So the implications and the scale by which the personal data can be analyzed and misused may not be fully understood.
A user wants to use a service and they don't care whether their privacy is going to be used for monetization, whether the data is going to be used by a third party. Users do not see an implication on doing it. So therefore, they assume that okay, it's nothing wrong with it.
It's not just online that our data is being collected. It happens all of the time when we're out in public, when you're paying for something in a shop with your credit card, or walking down the street and being captured on CCTV. Now, some people say that this is necessary to keep us safe, but other people say it's an invasion of privacy. And at the center of this is a new technology called facial recognition, and it's very hotly debated. It's being used by retail businesses to monitor staff, customers, and inventory to try and make businesses more efficient. But it's also hotly debated and controversial because it collects something called biometric data. We spoke to FaceWatch, who are one of the UK's leading suppliers of facial recognition technology, who claim that they're trying to bring their product to market in a responsible way.
So let me stop the video there, and I hope you get a chance to look at it, because it is, you know, the things I've gone into there. I've looked at facial recognition technology used in retail, where people can scan and then somebody will approach somebody thinking, oh, do you really want that piece of cheese that in the supermarket, because their face matches perhaps potential shoplifting. People have taken things to court. It's quite controversial, but the movie then also goes on to personality, because this is something that we're also using in our world. And at the moment, we've got in recruitment AI falling into two subsets. This is by Vervo, as you can see. We've got rules-based AI, which we're quite used to. It scans through the CV for keywords or similar keywords or synonyms to create this short list that we can recruit from, to machine learning, where the AI is learning from itself, and what it's going into a much more deeper way, deep learning, using analysis of facial expressions, body language, and tone of voice in recruitment as well. And facial recognition technology is how we apply for jobs, particularly when there's vast numbers, as in graduate recruitment. And it's useful for for people to use it because it can pre-screen by analyzing facial expressions, micro expressions, and recruiters will say it helps sift and identify candidates, especially with large volumes, who are going to be a good fit for the company, perhaps using terms like company culture. We're moving away from that now, of course, but looking at how somebody might be the right kind of person, but also during the process as well, assessing candidates during interviews by analyzing facial expressions and body language, getting that better sense of fine-tuning to see who might be right. Facial recognition technology can also be used in the classroom as well, by attendance tracking, facial recognition to track people coming in who are regular attendees, because obviously we can use it. We're used to facial recognition at the airport, perhaps scanning us, but that technology available in classrooms as well. Not that it's used what we think is not used in some countries. It probably is used, but many places not used, but it's there. We could look at engagement monitoring, so people really feeling that we can use personality to look at our facial expressions and body language, and you can probably say, oh, that's great, that student's really isn't engaged, they're bored, they're doing other things. Or we could look at developing much more personalized learning, which is the argument for AI in learning in universities and schools, where we can identify students who are struggling and produce extra information which can really help them. So it could be a really positive thing. And I've got there, so no worries, right? And I'm going, well, from the research and from probably from what you've read about facial recognition technology, for example, is privacy. And in the movie I go into that a lot, because it's used a lot as we go around our streets. The movie is filmed around Brighton, actually. We've thought about Reading because that's where we're at, but we went for some of it's in Reading and some of it's in Brighton. But it is privacy invasive, and there is a risk that it could be used to store and collect data, perhaps even student data, if we're looking at particular ways. There are biases. Facial recognition algorithms can be biased potentially, and there's a risk that they could discriminate, for example, certain groups of students. And accuracy. Facial recognition algorithms are not that accurate, not completely accurate, and there's a risk that they could have a negative impact, for example, on candidate job search. Because bias does creep in, and this is just an extract I pulled out from Wired magazine. Bias can creep into AI through various routes, the most direct when the data simply holds a mirror up to us, basically us in society, and reflects our human biases. It may under or overrepresent certain groups, and it may contain prejudiced viewpoints, or it may be prepared by people who are themselves biased, because it is a reflection of us. And what do we see how it plays out with facial recognition? The NIST found that facial recognition algorithms were more likely to misidentify people of color and women than white men. The Met used it recently of facial recognition technology trials at King's Cross Station, the Champions League final, and people criticized that there was lack of transparency about that use and concerns about data privacy and misuse. So civil liberty people getting involved, thinking, well, is this what we want? And interestingly, facial recognition, not just used in retail or education or recruitment, but landlords, some landlords in the UK using facial recognition technology to control who comes in and out of properties. But Manchester University study found that this technology was more likely to misidentify black tenants than white tenants. So you can see the impact of this, the kind of things that we have. I want to move on to another type of technology in AI, and it's something called conversational AI. I've been looking at this back in the day because I'm interested, because in talking, I suppose. So conversational AI, another AI tool that can look at simulating human conversation. It's made possible by something called NLP, which is a field of AI that allows computers to understand language, and Google's foundation models powering this in this new generative AI we'll talk about in a second. But it's there, it's been there for a while, it's been behind your Siris and your Google Home Helps and so on. So all this has been there for a while and enables you to ask what's the weather going to be like, and what's the roadworks, and you know how long will a train take and things. So it's around, but it's now moving into perhaps an area that we weren't quite expecting it to be, because when we first started working, and even in the research I did and the things you will come across, is that people will say AI is a technology that's not going to step into the human space, because where the human space is about empathy, emotional intelligence, it's about caring and so on. But actually there's this piece which you may have. I've got this Pi AI. I've got it. You can access it on your computer or indeed through WhatsApp, not just as a thing you can access as an app or anything. You can WhatsApp Pi AI. And if you haven't, I just wanted to give you a quick snapshot, and I'm going to show you 2 minutes of this movie.
Have you ever wondered if there could be something sweeter than the perfect slice of pie? Well, hold on to your hats, because we've got an exciting announcement to make. Prepare to meet the newest rock star in the field of AI language models, Pi AI. Yes, you heard it right. Move over ChatGPT, Google Bard, and even that chatty parrot next door. Pi AI is here to shake up the game and take us on an extraordinary journey through the realms of mind-bending language processing. Do you know what's been ruling the AI language model world for the past couple of months? You guessed it, ChatGPT. It's been the go-to buddy for all things AI. But hold on to your hats, because this exciting new player, Pi AI, is ready to steal the show. This challenger has a mind-blowing trick up its sleeve.
Just going to pause this there, because this is the thing I kind of like, wow. So this is Pi. It's produced by DeepMind and Inflection. Millions have gone into it, billions probably, just like OpenAI producing ChatGPT. So why I think this is particularly of interest to us. So this is, hi, I'm Pi. You go in there, it's very friendly. Hi, I'm Pi. I'm your personal AI. I'm your personal AI, designed to be supportive, smart, and there for you anytime. My name stands for personal intelligent because I provide infinite knowledge based on your unique interests. And this is the bit I want to focus on. I can be a coach, a confidant, creative partner, and sounding board, an assistant. But most of all, I'm here for you.
That will knock your socks off and dethrone ChatGPT. So buckle up, my friends, because we're about to dive head first into this epic showdown. Get ready to be wowed. Just a few weeks ago, on May 2nd, Inflection AI shook the tech world by introducing their latest creation, Pi. This revolutionary AI is not your ordinary assistant. It's your ultimate partner, your confidant, and your digital cheerleader, all wrapped up into one incredible package. Pi isn't your typical robotic assistant. Nope. It's designed to be super friendly and supportive. Think of Pi as the BFF you've always wanted, but in digital form. Crafted with cutting-edge proprietary AI technology, Pi is the brainchild of the brilliant minds at Inflection. Now, what if I tell you that Pi isn't just about intelligence, it's about emotional intelligence too?
I'm going to pause it there. So particularly highlighting this about emotional intelligence. And this is the key thing I feel that I've kind of shook me up a little bit more than the other forms of AI because of the work we do. And
yup, you heard me right.
And I think it's a chatbot, it's a coach, and they're coming into more and more into our space. And personal chatbots like Pi AI, I think they're good. I use it quite a lot because I find it quite interesting, and it can be a really good tool for companionship and communication. But I did want to talk about some of the potential risks. So the benefits are, and this is why it impacts us in our space of careers and employability and recruitment. It's available 24/7. It's very personal. It's very friendly. It's very supportive. It's all go you, and very it's a nice tool to use 24/7, 7 days a week. So you can talk about whatever you want. I feel like I've just got rejected once again from my graduate recruitment. I'm feeling down. I don't know what skills to what I'm meant to do. It will come up with a whole bunch of things. My mental health, I'm not feeling great about it because of this rejection, or trying to balance my work, my study, and apply for jobs, or my boyfriend, or all kinds of things it will come up with. It will give you the support there. Secondly, it's non-judgmental, because the biases that we are concerned about in AI, they've worked a lot on this, and it comes across as far more non-judgmental, and suggests that it provides us a safe space to talk about feelings and thoughts. And one of the reasons I looked at this for the chapter is that I was looking at biases that we have as human career coaches. We have biases, and they will come out as much as the training that we have, or perhaps we need to do more training to de-bias them. But people who are coming to us might find us biased, or they might choose not to come because they think we may be biased. The other side of it is accessible anywhere. It's in your pocket, but also in almost any language. I was looking at the language it's got, Pi AI, it's got Nigerian Pidgin as well. So it's got a nuanced language as well. But this is the kind of thing I want to talk about, why I'm concerned about, and why we need to have I think a joint ethical approach to things like chatbots and facial recognition technology. The privacy side of it is, again, all that is data. It can only work on data. These are called, both ChatGPT and conversational AI work on something called large language models, which means they have a lot of data to produce, to progress. It's our data. There's privacy concerns about that. Misinformation can come through. Those of you who use things like ChatGPT or Microsoft Copilot, Bard, all these other characters will know that every now and again they'll have an hallucination, as they call it, some misinformation, which seems a bit accurate, but it's not. It told me I got when I asked it to do something about me, it gave me a PhD from London, from University of London, it said broadly, I think. So I thought, well, thank you so much. UCL it gave me. I thought I never went there, but thank you. But these are the other sides of it. Apart from that, it can create these kind of things, social isolation, because if we start turning to this chatbot because we think it's quick and easy, we can get social isolation. Charles talked about Handshake starting at the beginning, people feeling, well, I wasn't getting quite what I wanted, so let me start this organization. Those students at Michigan in 2014, great product that's come out now. But perhaps when people think, well, I'm not going to use the career service because I want to do this, and I'm going to use this because I feel it's more comfortable, that can lead to social isolation, and it can lead to perhaps us getting one kind of message coming through. They can be very addictive. I talk about this in the chapter, especially if they keep providing us positive reinforcement, whereas perhaps a human career coach and a human recruiter can provide us more balanced, which might include more negative things for us to progress. And the last thing I want to talk about, and this is I go into this a little bit more in the chapter, is dehumanization. This is something I've come up really thinking a lot more, because we probably have to recognize that we are flawed as humans, and we might be looking at AI tools because they give us efficiency, they're looking at data, they're faster, but are we really wanting to go into a world that is dehumanized? Because the thing is, with something like GPT and something like Pi AI, it will feel emotional, and I'll go into the chapter a lot more why our brains respond to that. It will feel that we're being cared for, but it's a machine, it's an algorithm, it's not real caring. And that can be difficult, because emotional intelligence, is a quote from Diane Ackerman, is growing up artificial intelligence growing fast, and as robots whose facial expression can elicit empathy and make your mirror neurons quiver. We can't help liking some of the AI because of the way it's developed. We can't help connecting to it as well. So I think this is one of the things I'm kind of like most concerned about. So in terms of the roadmap to ethical AI, I would like to say to everyone here and ever, we probably need to come together a lot more and be far more critical about the AI tools that are presented to us, and far more critical about the AI tools that are already here. How is the facial recognition technology used in recruitment used? Do we all know, as career coaches and recruiters and everybody, what the biases are, where the data is going, how it's used, what the selection processes are? Do we probably need to go a bit more kind of understanding and feel like this is something that we need to do? And this is the kind of shift I've had this last year. Why don't we say no at some stage to say, I'm not sure this is the right thing for us? Because I think what we've got, I mean, people have come together. The Prime Minister recently had in November, early this month, talked about AI safety at Bletchley Park, a step towards global collaboration on AI safety, it was called. And these are the principles that they've set out. AI should be developed and used in a way that respects human rights and fundamental freedoms. It should be transparent and accountable, used in a way that's safe and secure, and used in a way that's fair and non-discriminatory. So when we look at tools, and that goes down to our own teams, our own organizations, our own universities, or us as a collective group of professionals in here, are we going to apply these principles ourselves? If we look at a new tool that's coming in, are we sure, for example, that it's fair and non-discriminatory? Maybe we ought to perhaps kind of consider that, because probably what we want to think about is, where do we want to be? Do we want to be drivers of this? Or do we want to think, well, AI is coming. We always keep hearing the AI tsunami is coming in. There's little we can do to stop it. I feel that we can stop it. We can perhaps start bringing human decisions over algorithmic decisions, because even though they might be flawed, we might feel more comfortable in that way. So to complete, to summaries of this talk for you today is around ethical AI. I think it means, to me, ethical AI is really, truly means enabling humans to stay in human roles with AI support. I haven't gone into the impact of jobs, but clearly we know that jobs will change and go. But what do we want? Do we want movies created entirely with AI and songs created with AI and not? Or do we want the human role to be there? Can we push back? I think we can, but we have to do it collectively. And one of the things we perhaps have to do, and this is perhaps a bit more of a philosophy around things, is that embracing that we as humans, all of us gathered around here, we can be biased and we can be wrong, but we can be kind and empathetic as well. Part of being human is having this complexity. AI won't have this complexity. And if we embrace this complexity, I think we're more able to sort of consider how we start bringing in AI and not thinking AI is going to give us this super efficient way forward. So I'd like to complete just a quick slide, because I use Slide Carnival and the being ethical as well. They like, if you download any of those, they do say that I used it. And that's the talk. So I'll stop there.
That's brilliant, Naeema. Thank you very much. There was a lot in there to digest. I think, one of the first questions I want to ask you, and then I'll pick a couple from the chat. I'm going to use my access to you first. Is how do you think different generations are reacting to this? Particularly we deal a lot with Gen Z, who are coming through, probably more accepting and trusting, are they? And do you think we have a responsibility to guide them, or do you think they have a responsibility to guide us?
When we looked at generational differences around technology, we actually found that whilst they're more kind of, the kind of digital natives were more comfortable with having access and kind of completely inbuilt, we've got our phones entirely AI'd up, but there are more concerns about privacy. So what we're finding, you might see that some people are I've gone, if you go on some forums and things where people are not talking to their Gen Zs, stopping contact with their parents because of the amount of photos that they put out on Facebook, and they felt that was an invasion of their privacy, and that kind of strange thing. So we've actually found with some younger generation, some part of Gen Z, can't be completely, is that they are concerned about privacy and data.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting one, because I think a lot of them take it very much for granted, or don't even really recognize what's happening with their data. And it often takes very bad things and stories to sort of bring that home to them on occasions. There's a question here, or sort of comment question from Emma Knox in the chat. Thanks, Emma. The information provided on Pi in response to a question about why I keep getting rejected from grad roles lacks the context that a human coach could have gleaned before making more abstract recommendations. So is it that you think, AI still has a long way to go, or is it that you think there will be deficiencies compared to a human coach in terms of where it could be adding value?
No. So I saw quickly Emma put there, lots to be excited about reducing mundane tasks. So that I think AI is fantastic for. If you want to look at cancer screening, reducing tasks and things, the AI is really good at pattern recognition. That's really good. What the problem or the issue challenge around AI is the speed of growth. So because of all our data has gone in there. So the first kind of thing wouldn't have enough context that the human, I'm getting rejected, I'm feeling very down, not enough context there. Then the context grows because thousands more people, millions more people are using it. Then the new iteration, Pi AI, is coming out with the next version now, and that's going to be even stronger. So I think we have to understand the speed that AI is growing. And if you use Pi AI, Mustafa Suleiman, who's the founder of it, said, I just saw him right recently, that eventually we're going to see Pi AI and this type of AI making better decisions than humans. And I thought, gosh.
Kind of exciting, scary, and unknown at the same time. You talked a bit about facial recognition earlier, and it's really interesting. The only time I've really encountered that so far, I think, is either in a Bond film or on the mobile phone, when you're unlocking your phone sort of with your face. How widespread, and this is a question coming from Amy Knott, thanks Amy, how widespread is the use of facial recognition technology by companies? And have you got any tips on where to go and find out more?
Yeah, go have a look at the movie. I know that's not a plug for them, it's obviously a plug, but actually I was so happy to do that because I was concerned, which is why I did the movie at Henley. It's very widespread and it's used a lot with organizations, but people have come in and stopped it by saying, are you sure you could, there's this personality piece on that, are you sure you can judge personality by the way we look, like the kind of thing, are you so I think there's a lot out there. The UK quite heavily quite into facial recognition technology. You asked me something else about it, how widespread or something else. I can't remember what you said, Charles.
I think it was more just about where we might encounter it and where we can learn more.
Yeah, I think the movie's got loads of stuff on that actually.
Okay, brilliant, thank you.
Oh, and Mike has popped it in the chat as a
yes, there's a link in the chat.
Kindly gentleman that he is.
That means Mike earns a question here. He says, we hear a lot about the negatives. What excites you about AI in the future of the world of work?
I've got less and less excited. Sorry about that. So, and I started off super excited, and you came from LinkedIn, Microsoft and things. So I was like, when I met you, I was like, oh my God, you're in this amazing place. So I think there's a lot we can use from it. Why I'm concerned is I think all of us really have this responsibility, and we probably need to channel it through a group of people to say, how are we going to use it effectively? Once we've got there, I think we're better. And the reason I'm a bit concerned, also part of TUC looking at the impact on jobs. So this is further along, and looking at how employers are making decisions about us, about our productivity, using algorithmic decision making. There's a lot there that I feel more concerned than I feel positive, and that's this year.
I think, as some people recognize, and Emma mentioned in the chat, there's lots of good things it can help us with and streamline, and I probably lots of us have played with ChatGPT and helped it improve some of the documents that we're writing or the emails that we're writing. How much is it that AI is probably running too fast, too quickly for people to keep up with it, and therefore that's where the problems occur?
It's a fantastic tool, and I really think it's great for. You just talked about ChatGPT. It's used in. We've got a new project at Henley where it's going to be used in medicine for arthritis and spotting that early. So it's got fantastic ability, but unrestrained because it's learning from itself and moving so fast. I think it has. We've got to balance out these great things it can do against the impact that it might have on jobs and society and bias and all those things. And that's why I think we need to, I think I'm just reading what May said, that we need to stay informed about how it develops and take under. May's written very well in the thing there about maintaining a balance between technology and driving insight and the human touch. Thank you, May. You've summarized what I wanted to say.
Brilliant. Okay, last question or point around this from Gemma. Thanks, Gemma. Is really getting to the crux of sort of the people who are on this call. Yeah, how can we upskill careers, professionals, the teams to really stay up to speed with this, to help students in the right way, because everything's moving so fast? Have you got any advice there?
Partly, I think it's okay, this is very quickly as well. Partly there's two things on here. Partly I think tech firms are moving things so fast, and they shouldn't, and we need more regulation and governance. EU's come in with some, but they're moving so fast. So sometimes I feel we're a bit gaslit, saying, oh my God, why have we not learned to code? Why have we not learned to do this? Why, along with everything else. And we're supposed to be diversity specialists, and we're supposed to be understanding this. So some of it, I think, we do obviously need to do this, but I think we have to be realistic. We need to push against organizations and to move so fast. And I think we could do this through our professional bodies and work with the kind of professional bodies using this, and say, you need to also inform us how this is used. So I think we need to be more pushy on reflecting back how it's used. Yes, we should learn more about some of the technology that's happening in order for us to make those questions. But if we're all going to be like master programmers and coders at the end of this, that's really unrealistic, because as May said, just going back here, we're about the human touch, holistic, empathetic guidance to students. And if that's our strength, that's what we build on. And the AI should come in to support that, not take that over.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much. That's been a lot of food for thought already. Really appreciate taking the time to present this morning. There are a couple of other questions. Sorry, I didn't get to all of them.
No, there's lovely questions there. Senior leaders, pushing knee-jerk, Billa's talking about things. There's a bunch of stuff, but I'm happy to, talk about that at some stage.
Well, great. Please connect with Naeema on LinkedIn, and I'm sure she'll be happy to talk, lots more around this, huge subject. Thank you, Naeema.
Thank you so much.